For the first time in 3 years, the New Orleans Saints have a member of their football team on the Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie team. In fact, for the first time since the 2019 season, they have two, count them two, in quarterback Tyler Shough and left tackle Kelvin Banks. Wow, how sad is that it's been that long? Anyway, what does that say about the future of this franchise? Maybe a little bit more about the past. And does that change the thinking about where this team will go in the upcoming draft? Locked On Saints podcast host Ross Jackson is here to offer his opinion, and we also discuss other needs for this football team, of which there are plenty. Ross also will give us predictions for the AFC and NFC championship games. Meanwhile, Gabe is here, and we'll have some breaking LSU news about Lane Kiffin poaching them Ole Miss Rebels again. That's always fun. We have exciting news about memberships for the Dattitude podcast, and we'll share some info on a special guest who will join us on Friday. Stick around. We are so glad you found us. The Dattitude podcast, well, it's coming up next.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where you at, Dattitude family? Two. Count them two, not one. Rookie of the year. Plenty to talk about this morning. So let's get to Dattitude, episode number 466, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Wednesday, January the 21st, 2026. I am your host, Jim Derry, 35 plus years on the New Orleans sports media scene. I thank you so much for being a part of the Dat family. We're going to get to in just a moment how you can become, even bigger supporter of the Dattitude family. Memberships are now available. We'll tell you about that in a minute. Gabe's going to come on with me and just kind of go through what you get for your memberships. Again, who's going to be the first? Who's going to be the first member? We're going to talk about in just a moment. You know what is most special about a show? Even if you just want the free version of Dattitude, that's okay. Because for the free version, you still get all the things you got before. You get to type in your comments, whether you're watching us on YouTube or you're watching us on Facebook. Doesn't matter. You type in your comment. We will show it. You talk, I respond. Not just on Mondays, but on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Central Time. That's what we do here. Wednesday is guest day. You know what's coming on. Ross Jackson will be here at 11:20 to talk about the Saints and the NFL. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, even if you're not a member, even if you don't plan on becoming a member, you're like, I don't want another thing in my life where I got to spend money. It's okay. The memberships are basically to support the show. And if you don't want to do that, that is okay. But please subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube page. We can use all the support we can get. That's support. That's how you can start supporting us. Subscribe to the YouTube page if you haven't already done so. Give us a thumbs up, a like, wherever you're watching. Also, click the little bell to receive notifications when we go on the air live. Okay, we told you Ross is coming on the show today. Again, I want to talk about memberships for just a moment. I'm going to bring Gabe on, and they are available now. The way you do it, let me go back to my little notes here. You go to the main YouTube page, which many of you are on. You don't have to do it right this second, but you click the join button. Okay, and you'll see two options. They forced me to do levels, which I didn't want to do. Okay, so if there's a way not to do levels, I didn't see how to do that. So there are two levels. One's called Support Dat, which is the main membership. It's $12.99 a month. Okay, that is the price per month. You sign on, and it's a recurring thing, and it charges you every month, and you can cancel at any time. You want to do it 1 month, you do it a month, and then you can cancel later if you want to, but we would appreciate it if you supported the channel. With that, and Gabe's going to talk a little bit about the Slack channel. We're going to do vote. We're going to do a poll every day. I don't have one today. I'm going to just be honest. I don't have one today. But we are going to start having. You've got one? Okay. We're going to start having polls every show, and the members are going to be able to vote on that. I'm not going to start the members only vote until probably next month. But some point in the very near future, you're going to be able to, your only members are going to be able to vote in the poll. I mean, people can type in their thoughts or whatever, but go ahead and explain how the Slack channel is going to work. That will be part of the membership where it's kind of like a text group almost, right, Gabe?
Yeah. So we've got a Slack channel for the Dattitude family. Anyone who becomes a member, we will get you added into that Slack channel, and it's essentially a comment section 24/7. We have little specific channels for everyone to talk about their niche interests. You know, we've got a Saints channel, a Pelicans channel, LSU, Tulane, all sports. And then we've got just a general channel. That's where you shoot the shit, just like you do here in the Dattitude comments, with all the members of the Dattitude family. So Jim and I will be in there. UBN will be in there. One little perk that I guess comes with it is you now see.
There you go. You get a little UBN is the first YouTube, the first Dattitude member, and I guess you get when you make a comment, it shows that you're a member, and you get a special.
Oh, it doesn't show it here; it only shows it on our end. But UBN's name is lit up all green.
Okay, so. Well, there you go. So you get that, and then the next tier is $19.99 a month, and that's mainly just added support for the channel. But if you do sign up to the $19.99 per month, what I will do is I will send you some merch right off the bat. I will have to get your address, and it'll be something small like a pen and a sticker or something along those lines. And then when we are going to have a DAT store, and the whole 0.0 thing that's on t-shirts and whatever, that is going to happen. And so that's coming soon. And when we do that, if you sign up to the $19.99 per month, Chad Gage became a member. Thank you, Chad. If you become a $19.99, Kyle Sherman, thank you so much. If you join the DAT family, $19.99 per month, you also will get some merch. Okay, so there you go. And by the way, if you sign up, you're going to have to, we're going to have to get your email address, I believe, right? To send. Charles Mangus.
Yep, you'll need an email address to be added to the Slack channel. We will send you an invite, and then we'll go from there. But you'll be added. We will also have one thing I didn't mention in the Slack channel. We will have a podcast channel. That is where you can vote on polls that Jim and I will put. We're still working out the kinks, what we're going to put in there. But one thing that we will have is you will get an early look at all the guests on the show for the week, and any programming notes, announcements for the show will also be put in there as well.
And so we appreciate all the support that you've all given us. And if you decide, you know what, I don't want to become a member, I just want to donate here and there, you could still do the super sticker or super chat or however you want to do it. We appreciate whatever you want to help the channel keep going. We appreciate it so much as an independent now, working on some more sponsorships. If you have a business that wants to be a sponsor of the show, get in touch with me. But if you do become a member, we're going to have to find a way to, I tell you what, email me, jim@jimderry.com. We'll make sure your email address gets in there. Once you become a member, email me. I think that's the best way probably to give me your email address without, putting it all over the place, right?
You might be able to see it on YouTube, but I'm not 100% sure. But we will keep a list. We will ensure that we know every member of the DAT family that becomes a member today and get you added to the Slack as quickly as possible.
Right. And if you don't want to be a part of the Slack, you don't have to be. That's just an option. You can go in there, and we will be in there. And it's basically like a text group is what it is. And you could turn on notifications, turn off notifications. You don't have to have it bug you. If you want to just be a part, go see what's going on with the members are writing about, you can do that. So anyway, we'll talk more about that later on. I just wanted to make everyone clear. I wanted to bring Gabe in, and those are the things you get. Again, if you join the top tier, the $19.99 per month tier, you also get some merch as well. And of course, you'll get member shout outs. Thanks, Gabe. We'll talk to you later after Ross joins us on the show.
Sounds good. See you then.
All right, everybody. Before we get into what we want to talk about today, we got some other people who support the show, and I want to tell you about them. You know who they are, but we're going to tell you about them anyway, especially you members. Let me tell you about our friends at Evangeline Securities. Of course, they are a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. And just as importantly, they can figure out what that business is worth. If that's you, if it's someone you know, it's time to reach out to Evangeline's founding partner, Nick Braden. He will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation from his office, either on Poydras Street or in Lafayette. From there, you will be well-informed to begin to make the decision on if you want to proceed. What happens after that? Well, we'll tell you about it. We'll fill you in more later in the show. In the meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinesecurities.com. NOLA.com. And we also think you should check out my friend, Joe DiStefano. If you own a small business of fewer than 20 employees, you know how tough it is to get the best rates on health insurance. That's why you want to call Joe DiStefano Insurance. Joe and I have known each other for almost 40 years. I can tell you that he's someone that I trust. Look, health insurance shouldn't be one size fits all. And with Joe DiStefano, you get access to PPO networks and flexible plans designed to fit you, not just a cookie cutter mold. Joe's licensed, he's local, but he can help you no matter where you live and operate. From preventative care to peace of mind, we'll tailor a plan that works for your life today and tomorrow. Call Joe DiStefano at 504-234-2132 to protect what matters most. All right, everybody, let's get rolling with the show. Breaking news somewhat. It's not like it broke in the last hour or so, but it broke earlier this morning. It's the first time I saw it anyway. Cokie Riley talking on NOLA.com about CBS, actually, I believe, was the first to report that Ole Miss junior edge rusher Princewell Umanmielen, I'm sure I've screwed that name up, and Gabe and I are probably going to talk more about this later in the show, but I wanted to bring it out there. This is obviously not the lead of the show today, but I did want to talk about this and tell you that Gabe and I will be on this later. He didn't know that I was going to say that, but this will be one of our topics later this morning. And look, all the Ole Miss people bitching and moaning and complaining about people jumping ship. Well, you know what? That's the nature of this business. And I'll tell you what, I've given Lane Kiffin a little grief, but I'm also going to give him some praise and tell him that I think he's done an outstanding job in the portal. And by all means, poach whoever you can poach. That's part of the game. You don't like it, stop them. Stop them from leaving. Give them a reason not to leave. And apparently they're not doing that. So all the Ole Miss fans that are bitching and moaning, well, they bitch about something else because that's what you're supposed to do. So, again, we'll talk about that later in the show after Ross Jackson comes on. Princewell Umanmielen. I know that's not how you pronounce it. I know that I'm butchering his last name. As a play-by-play guy, you think I know it. Figure it out by now. But just a couple things on him. He had 51 quarterback pressures last year, according to Cokie. He was finished tied for third in the SEC and sacks with 9. He was an all-SEC third-team selection, and he led Ole Miss in sacks. He began his career at Nebraska. In 2 seasons there, he had 35 tackles and 1.5 sacks. Again, more coming up on that after we talk to Ross Jackson coming up. I'm just going to go right into the Saints slide here because I know that's what most of you are probably going to want to talk about. The first time since 2022 that the Saints have even had one member. This is the first time since 2020. How sad is that? The first time in 3 years that the Saints have had, this is following, I say 2022, following the 2022 season. Chris Olave made the team in 2022. Before that, it had been since 2019. So only one player before this year, only one player since Sean Payton was the coach, since Drew Brees was the quarterback, only one rookie had made the all-rookie team. Now, look, maybe people are going to get on Mickey again today. I don't know, because it's been a while since people got on Mickey, because this clearly was a good draft, and I really think that the draft class before that was a good draft. But it does say a lot. There's no denying it. I mean, if you only get 3 rookies in 6 years on the all-rookie team, that's not good. But to have 2 this year, and Tyler Shough and Kelvin Banks, that is a big deal. So what does it say about the future of this team? We're going to get into that with Ross coming up. Again, real quick, there were 2 other things I wanted to talk about, and I got a lot of comments. I'm going to get to them in just a minute. Whoops, wrong one. I promise. But I wanted to say, first, I wanted to let you know, and Ross coming on in 5 minutes, so I got to get rolling here. But our guest for Friday, we got a very special guest on Friday. Besides, Zach Ewing's going to come on. The Pick'em crew is going to come on. So we're going to try to condense everything. Zach's going to only come on for 20 minutes instead of 35 or 40. The Pick'em crew we're going to hold them to 20 minutes because at noon on Friday, we have on the Dattitude podcast, we have the lead official, the head referee from Monday night's national championship game. That's right. The head referee, the white cap from the national championship game, Mike Vandervelde, will be on the Dattitude podcast. I did not know this. I found this out from a friend of mine or a colleague that I don't know how I didn't know this, because Mike Vanderveld has been the head baseball coach at North Lake Christian in Covington, I think since 2019 or so. And I don't know how I didn't know that. So, especially since I was covering high school sports in 2019, that shows you that I probably just forgot. But because I forget a lot of things at this age. But to think that a guy from the North Shore was the head official here, and I went and read some things about him. Apparently, he is, according to those in the know, amongst the land of officials. He's been called by several contemporaries as one of the top 2 or 3 officials in college football. So Mike Vanderveld, the head official from Monday night's national championship game, will be on this show on Friday, and we're excited about that. We're excited about today's guest, Ross Jackson, coming on in just a minute. By the way, congrats to Kurt Cignetti. A quick vignette from Cignetti. Okay. You want to talk about is there anyone more Saban-like in college football than Kurt Cignetti right now? I mean, I really don't think so. And I saw this little, again, a little vignette. I'm going to give me a second here. His daughter, I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but I saw this on Bleacher Report. His daughter, Natalie, apparently texted him back when what was this, last year? Yeah, last year when they, no, I'll take this back. This wasn't last year. She texted him after they won their first playoff game. And she asked her dad, "Are you happy with multiple exclamation points?" And he said, simply, "No." That's it. He just said no. No explanations, no nothing, just no. So, after he won the national championship game on Monday night, he says, "So, are you happy now?" And he says, "Yes," with emoji exclamation marks, and that's all he got. That's all she got. Awesome. You got to love it, man. You got to feel for Indiana. You got to be happy for the Hoosiers, a team that's just a basketball school that wins in football. And they got a coach that I got to be honest, I didn't know a whole hell of a lot before this season. And I mean, he's like old school and new school all wrapped up into one. I mean, he went for 4th downs like someone that's, some 35-year-old coach, but yet he's got the growl and the scowl of a 75-year-old dude. It's fun to watch. It is awesome. And I got to say, I enjoyed it, even though I had my $2 ticket on Miami from 8 weeks ago, and they were 60-1, and I was going to win $120, and I just didn't bet because I didn't have a chance to hedge. There was no chance I could hedge, and I still enjoyed it. It was okay that I lost it because it was that fun, and they deserved it. I mean, look, sometimes some teams luck into things. There's no luck about the Indiana Hoosiers. They absolutely earned everything they got. They had some breaks go their way, but man, it was a whole lot of fun. And then lastly, before we get to some comments, and Ross, I apologize, but give me like 3 minutes here. I want to say, in fact, I'll bring this up with Ross, but did you see the Baker tweet about Kevin Stefanski going to the Falcons? That's gonna be the first thing I bring up when I bring Ross on. But I gotta show my comments this morning. Give some love to the Dad family. Good morning, everybody. Can you believe it? 1 year ago today, you had 8 inches of snow at your house in Prairieville. I had 7 here in Mandeville. And UBN, who absolutely hates temperatures under 65 degrees, had 11 inches at his house, and he's still pissed off about it. It's a wonderful thing. Good morning, Apathy. You missed Monday's show. That's okay. You can go back and watch. Sean Payton is the most cursed coach he's ever seen. Win the Super Bowl. Bound in Gate 5 of the most ridiculous playoff exits he can remember. Bo goes down. Second to last play. Well, Apathy's still in the AFC Championship game, so there's that. I mean, he could be the Buffalo Bills. You want to talk about cursed? When's the last time they won a Super Bowl champ? Oh, that would be never. Just saying. A-Town wants to start a mock draft. We're getting there. It's still January. I can't do it yet. I refuse. One Smoke, good morning. Miami Future was so close. I know. We missed it. It's all right. Chad Gage, one of the newest members of not of the Dattitude family, one of the newest members, like official member. We got members. Dylan is a member. Thank you so much. Ryan Shano, thank you. Brian Cavett is a member. Thank you so much. Thank all of you very much. Jerry is here. Good morning. Mark Gapsky is here. Good morning. You're so excited for free agency in the draft. One Smoke is excited that Ross is here, as is Jerry. What else we got here? I gotta apologize for running through them, but I do. I need to run. Kyle Sherman, hey, Dattitude, how are you, my friend? Dylan Smith says, love seeing Shough on all the local podcasts. Love the kid, down to earth, got natural swag. Hopefully the future quarterback for years to come. No doubt about it. You know what? We can do comments. Wait. Come on. You can do it, Derry. There. Come on. You can do it. UBN says, are you ready for the icy weather? I am. Ross Jackson, are you ready for icy weather?
No.
Are you like UBN?
I'm with UBN, man. I hate everything below 75.
Yeah. Well, he always gives me crap because I like cold weather, but I like cold weather within reason. I'm not a guy. Don't get me wrong. I didn't want to be in Soldier Field or whatever the hell it's called now. Last weekend when it was 0 degrees and the wind chill was like, -10 or whatever the hell. I don't want that, but I do like a nice 45-ish, a 40, a 45. I can keep the ice.
They're the same picture. They're the same picture.
Well, Saints fans are excited. Charles is here. Good morning. And he's saying it is happy hump day for sure. Let's see. Justin says Big Ten runs college football now. This is my man from Michigan. He's saying the Big Ten is running college football now. You agree with that?
Win some in a row, and then we'll start talking.
Exactly. We're getting a little too fired up here. Adam Varner says the Indiana-Miami game was officiated well. And again, we have the head official coming on our show on Friday. I'm excited about that. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Saints. I got some more comments. I promise I'm going to get to them as we go along here, Ross. But I didn't realize this till I looked it up. Kind of embarrassing almost. It is the first time that the Saints have had a member on the all-rookie team since Chris Olave did it after the 2022 season. And it's the first time they've had two since 2019 when Eric McCoy and C.D. Deuce made the team. Before this year, 3 members on the all-rookie team since 2019. That kind of says a lot about what this franchise has done the past 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, too, one of those guys in that 2019 was Deontay Hardy for punt returning. So it was like a special teams nod. They got their 3rd one in. And then before that, the last time they had a pair was 2017, of course, with the 2 magnificent guys, and Alvin Kamara and Marshawn Lattimore. And so, I think you're right. I think it shows you, where they invested in players, and then also what the sort of performance of those players were, and how this 2025 draft class has the potential to be the best one since 2017. I'm not saying better than 2017, but the best one since 2017 for sure.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And look, Ross, I think even though they didn't get a member on the all-rookie team from the 2024 class, right? Yeah, 2024 class. I think that was a good draft as well. Yeah. Now, we always talk about time will tell. So I don't want to give them too much grief because it takes 2, 3, 4, sometimes 4 years to figure out if these rookies are any good or not. But I really think that 2 classes in a row now that Mickey and company have done a much better job. And it's going to be obviously important as this team continues to develop going down the stretch.
Yeah, that's huge. And continuing to find ways with this class, I think, is going to be big for them in terms of setting up things for their future, right? Like, we saw a lot of things pivot at the beginning of the season to where it felt like it was no longer about trying to fight for another year and trying to compete for another year and all that. And then instead it became about looking ahead to the future and kind of being more, future oriented in terms of building towards kind of that new goal. And I think that they started off on the right foot. The thing that I love comparing it to is back in 2016, the Saints had a really good draft class. It included guys like Sheldon Rankins and some others. And that was a pretty strong class. And then 2017 completely overshadowed it, right? Because 2017 was so good. So now I'm wondering, okay, is 2025 the draft class that we're looking at right now going, oh, that was a solid draft class for New Orleans? Can they improve upon that going into 2026, especially with as many things as they have or as many assets as they have available to them with 8 picks in 2026?
I was so excited to get into it. I didn't even really introduce you well enough. Ross, tell everybody, Ross Jackson of the Locked On podcast, Locked On Saints podcast, Locked On Network. Tell everybody how they can find you. I also want to talk about another podcast you do, but talk about your main gig and how everybody can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Locked On Saints podcast. You can find it free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube as well. Just search Locked On Saints. And you'd also find everything that you need on social media at Ross Jackson, NOLA, N-O-L-A.
And before, we're going to get back to Saints real quick, but I just want to say, and I said this last week and absolutely meant it. I don't know that I've had and with no offense to any of the other shows that I've gone on, I had a ton of fun, but I had so much fun going on a show with you and Doug a couple of weeks ago. And it's literally the only show that I think that I've ever been. Well, it's the only show that I've ever gone on where I was served alcohol on a podcast. Yep. It was fantastic.
And we're trying to make it hard for people to say no. You know what I mean? No, that's so good. I'm so glad to hear that, Jim. You were such a blast to be on there. And it was great to sort of see the unveiling of what I've begun to call laissez-le bon temps d'arrêt. Because man, you really just kind of I loved it. It was awesome.
That is so much better than Derry Downer.
That's way better than Derry Downer. Wait a minute, that's all yours. I didn't even. You said it. I don't know what you're talking about. No, that was great. I really appreciate hearing that. We love that show very much, the Ultimate New Orleans Sports Show, which we do in collaboration with WWL Channel 4. And so it was a huge opportunity, first of all, to be able to do that show and to be able to do it and have people like you come through and have fun with us and everything. Like it was awesome. You were awesome.
Well, I gotta say, ginger margarita, that may be in my future. I may have to get the recipe from you because I gotta say that was rolling pretty good. We enjoyed it.
I got you. I made a whole new batch of ginger syrup literally like 2 days ago just because of that.
Oh, so you made the syrup yourself?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I gotta get the recipe for that one. So
I got you.
I got a few more months on this big diet that I'm on, but we'll partake in that before too long. JC says he always likes to update what is in Denver, so it can always be worse. It's 29 degrees in Denver, Colorado this morning.
That's Mark, warm in Denver.
Yeah, well, that is kind of warm for this time of year. Let's see what it is on Sunday. I have not looked up the weather in Denver for Sunday. I will very soon. But Mark wants to know, do you think the Saints will have any interest in Caden Ellis, Alec Pierce, or the former Saint Rashid Shaheed?
Yeah, it's so interesting, the idea of homecomings and everything like that. I don't know about the homecoming opportunities there, guys like Rashid Shaheed as well as Caden Ellis. I will say that Caden Ellis wanted to stay here in New Orleans, but got a much better deal, basically, over in Atlanta. So I expect he'll probably land back in Atlanta, especially with them retaining Jeff Ulbrich, their defensive coordinator there. Rashid Shaheed, I don't see why he would leave Seattle. You might as well stay there. Like they've got a nice role for him on special teams, and it's working super well for him. And you wonder if maybe he continues to kind of fall into that offense again with Clint Kubiak as well, which he hasn't been super involved so far this season after the trade. So out of those, I think the guy that probably makes the most sense for New Orleans is Alec Pierce. Him getting away from Indianapolis, though, is going to be quite the task. But he's exactly the kind of receiver that New Orleans needs, a physical X-receiver, split-in type that you can put all by himself over on one side, but has the versatility to move around and take snaps from different spots, and is a sure-handed guy, which the Saints could certainly use in some clutch situations. So I think he would be the guy out of those three that if I'm the Saints, I would try to pursue, but it requires him to hit the market first.
And I also think that as much, people say hindsight 2020, Rashid Shaheed, they shouldn't have traded him. But, explain to people. I mean, he was going to be a free agent after this year was over. The Saints got something when they might have gotten nothing if they just let him go. At the time, just a 2-win football team. It was the right move to make at the time.
Yeah. I actually, I'll tell you, I don't understand the argument around the idea that Rashid Shaheed shouldn't have traded him away. And I'm not saying that that's because Rashid Shaheed did anything wrong or deserved to be traded. That's not how trades work. You have to trade players that other teams want. Exactly. So you trade good players. And so I think, though, that if you look at his role in Seattle, what he did in Seattle wouldn't have been very beneficial here in New Orleans. Like, he's not a part of the offense in Seattle. He's got something like 15 catches, I think, since he's been there. He's been a big time special teams person for them, but you also have a really good special teams unit as a whole over in Seattle. That is not the case. That was not the case here in 2025 for New Orleans. It's not just about the returner. It's about the blocking. It's about the scheme. It's about the concepts. It's about all those things. And none of those things were kind of in line when it came to kick returns, punt returns, things like that for New Orleans. And so what he's excelled in so far and what all of his highlights have been in Seattle might not have ever come to fruition here in New Orleans. And I don't think we can say anything about the Rashid Shaheed trade until the fourth and fifth round picks that they got convey and actually turn into players. And so if, 3 years down the road, you got 2 starters out of that on either side of the football, you're probably not singing the same tune when it comes to, what that trade might look like now.
Basically, to me, Rashid, for us older folk, Rashid Shaheed is basically Michael Lewis. It's kind of the same thing. He's probably a little bit more involved in the passing game, probably a little bit better receiver than Michael Lewis was, but he's also going to get paid a lot more, even if you talk respectively and you compare, what was the money worth 20 to 25 years ago compared to today. He's still going to get paid more. He's going to get a pretty decent contract.
Yep. And he deserves it. He's an electrifying player, especially when you make room for him on your offense in addition to on special teams. I don't see how Clint Kubiak doesn't do that in 2026 if Rashid Shaheed is a part of their 2026 plan. But I think you're absolutely right. He's going to get paid quite handsomely, I think, this offseason because of what he can provide you as a home run hitter, as a yards after catch guy, if he can develop in that area, and then, of course, as a special teamer.
One Smoke wants to ask, do you expect the Saints to be aggressive in free agency?
I think it depends. I want to be careful about that because I don't always know what people mean by aggressive. Like, are they going to sign day one free agents? No, probably not. But are they going to go out there and spend money in a way that we haven't seen them spend money in the past few years? Yeah, probably, because they actually have it to spend for a change or will have it to spend for a change. And so I think that they'll be a little bit more active relative to themselves, but not necessarily a situation to where they're going to go out there and start trying to compete for market resetting deals and things like that. I think the biggest thing that they can do, Jim, is go out there and sign offensive linemen, like go and work on their offensive line and in particular their interior. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. and you're gonna have to spend some money there. And so I think in that sense, that will be probably where a big move happens. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that is the start of 6 or 7 big contracts that get handed out, or 3 or 4 big contracts that get handed out. That might be the one big contract that goes out, and then the rest of the focus goes to retaining talent and then filling in depth to take care of needs, and then go into the draft as need free as possible.
And usually interior linemen are not easy to get in free agency because the teams are doing whatever they can. If they're really good, teams are doing whatever they can to make sure they keep their interior linemen, because that's one of the toughest place to refill. However, this is a weird year, Ross, where I think that you look at the list of potential available guards, and there are a ton of them. There are probably 12 or 15 guys that are impact guards that are going to be available. So the Saints really are in a good spot here as opposed to last year when there were almost none.
Yeah, and this year too, a good portion of those names are also on teams where you're now seeing regime changes, which works in the favor of New Orleans. You look at like a David Edwards, my apologies, that's coming out of Buffalo. Is the regime change there going to send him to the open market? You look at Isaac Seumalo, same thing, out of Pittsburgh. Big regime change there with the stepping away of Mike Tomlin or whatever they called that. And so like all of that compounds to a point to where, some of these guys might actually hit the market. You're right. It's a really hard position to address because colleges don't develop interior offensive linemen very well, and they don't do it very often. You find a really athletic offensive lineman, or a really Cam Jordan would hate me for saying athletic offensive lineman, but you find a really promising and talented offensive lineman. What's the first thing you do? You move them to another position. All of a sudden they're playing defensive tackle, or they're going somewhere else. Like that happens a lot in college, high school, and all that. That's not a position that gets developed very often. So I think that's a big spot for them to tackle in free agency instead.
It's not only that. I've seen this trend a lot more the last few years, where you see smaller tackles kind of transition to interior linemen. And so, that also is part of the draft too. So I think that's just, to me, interior lineman is just one of the spots where it's really key to go out in free agency and get one.
Completely agree.
And again, especially now that they need one. And I know Cesar Ruiz, and we can talk about Cesar Ruiz for a second. I mean, look, I don't know if regressed is the right word. He was never fantastic, but look, let's be realistic. He's average at best. Okay, so I don't know if you can fill two spots at once. And again, he's under contract for 2 more years. At somewhere in the neighborhood of $11 to $13 million a year. So it's hard to waste money to shore up both spots. But do you think that the Saints go after 2 guards, or they just say one and, like, I don't want to say stuck, but maybe if you can shore up the rest of the offensive line and you got your 2 tackles and McCoy comes back and you just go get a top guard, then maybe you can almost, I don't want to say cover up, but that's the best way I can put it. Say, we just have one semi-weak link there.
Yeah, I think you can move ahead with that. It's very rare that you're going to find offensive lines around the NFL where every lineman is an A-grade lineman, right? A lot of times you have, maybe 2 or 3 A grade guys, and then some B's and C's that are mixed in, and then you do some things to help those guys out. I think all of that is something that the Saints could absolutely navigate and move forward. I do think, though, that they clearly have an eye on Cesar Ruiz. You heard Mickey Loomis during the end of year press conference where he openly said, I think they need to get more from him and everything. And so I think there's a challenge there for sure. And so the way that I would look at it is, I think you're looking at least one interior offensive lineman this offseason being a priority need for the team. And then if they find themselves in a situation where they can get 2, I think you get 2. And if nothing else, you provide some competition to Cesar Ruiz to kind of speed that improvement up that you're looking for. And then if he loses his gig, this is the joy of having the flexibility of a quarterback on a rookie deal to where you can make you can make some harder decisions now that you couldn't make before. And so I think that, like, there's a kind of on notice tag right now that is probably around the Cesar Ruiz locker at the moment. But I don't know that they're going to rush to go out there and try to replace him right away. Maybe something to, look forward to or look ahead to at a later time.
Musette, thank you so much for being the newest member of the Dattitude official family. We appreciate it so much. Thank you, Musette, not just today, but for your support the last couple of years here on the show. We appreciate you so much. Jerry asked a question that I kind of want to lead into. Don't answer that one just yet. He asked, who should be the number 8 pick in the first round? Because I want to talk real quick. Chuck and Banks kind of lead into that question. And you talk about Banks, obviously Kelvin Banks was the right fit for this football team in multiple ways. And we hope that injury there at the end of the season doesn't, linger or whatever. But Tyler Shough, obviously, it's a little too early to say. There's no question, and there's no question that he's going to get a chance to be the quarterback of this future. I'm still holding off on saying he is the quarterback of the future, although obviously very promising. However, one thing that he did is one thing that the play of Tyler Shough did and Kelvin Banks did was, I think you go into this draft, and I don't think there's any question. You tell me if you don't agree with me, but I don't think there's any question now that you're probably thinking playmaker with that number 8 pick because of those 2 guys specifically. You probably don't draft an offensive lineman with the number 8 pick, and you certainly don't draft a quarterback. Does that lead you to say a guy like Jeremiah Love or along those lines, the running back from Notre Dame, or one of the top wide receivers? Is that you're thinking of where the Saints will probably go?
Yeah, my mantra has been BPA for New Orleans, but not just best player available, best playmaker available. That's kind of been my thing for them going into this year's draft. And the only thing I would add to that, like, the answer is yes to your question. That's exactly where it leads me to believe. The one thing that I add to it is that conceivably that playmaker could be on the defensive side of the football too. You could go that route in terms of helping your quarterback by getting the football back in his hands, adding playmakers over to that side of the field. So that could be a route for New Orleans as well, depending upon how the board falls. But I think if you get the opportunity to grab an offensive playmaker first, I think that is what makes the most sense to do right away. And then you can start to look at some of those other positions. There's a really deep edge rusher class. There's a really nice defensive backs class this year as well. Not a super top end cornerback class, but it's deep as it goes through. And so I think that there are opportunities maybe to snatch those positions up a little bit later. But I think early on, leaning offensive playmaker makes a ton of sense to me.
I don't know, Ross. I think where this team is now, the only defensive player that I'm probably not going to lose my mind on our live draft show if they draft. And I'm okay with probably the guy who played for a school and that their mascot rhymes with his name. Like if it rhymes with Kane, I'm probably okay with that.
Yeah, fair. But I don't blame you at all.
I don't think you can pass on that. But other than that, I don't know. This team to me just Jeremiah, and then one smoke says the pass and play like Bain, Downs, or Bailey. I just think if Jeremiah Love is there at 8, Ross, how do you pass on to me what could be a friend? Look, don't get me wrong. I love Ruben Bain. I love, you go down the list of defensive guys that you talked about, and they do need defensive backs too. But to me, Jeremiah Love is a game-changing running back who might even be better than Ashton Genty, who went with the 6th pick last year.
Yeah, that would be I think a home run pick for New Orleans. Now, we also have to acknowledge that a lot of what they do in the draft is going to be dictated by what they also achieve in free agency. And so if you land a free agent that helps you out on the edge, like an Adafe Owe, for instance, or a Boye Mafe, something like that, then it makes the likelihood of a high first-round pick going to the offensive side of the football more likely, right? So we have to acknowledge that obviously free agency impacts all these things. But I think Jeremiah Love for me is like one of the top 2 players that this team can get at, pick number 8. And he's probably number 1. But, do you pass on those defensive guys? It depends on what they do in free agency. And it depends on who else is on the board. Who are you passing on them for? If those 3 guys and Jeremiah Love are on the board and they take Jeremiah Love, then I think it makes sense that you pass on those guys. And so I would agree.
If he's available and the Saints pass on Love, I would bet your Sweet Bippy. I don't know how much a Sweet Bippy is worth, but if I knew how much a Sweet Bippy was worth, I would absolutely bet that the Chiefs take him at number 9. So I mean, do you want the Chiefs to get Jeremiah? No, come on, man. We don't want the Chiefs to get Jeremiah Love. Saints go. That's another reason to draft them,
Yeah.
That's neat. All right. Before we move on, I want to ask you your thoughts on the NFL playoffs, but just your overall thoughts on Tyler Shough. And look, I don't know if you've been on the show since before the season started.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, wow. So that's all. Time flies when you're having fun. But,
it went quick.
It really did. But just talk about your thoughts of Tyler Shough. Do you think? Obviously, he's earned the right to go into next season as the unquestioned starter and get a full season to see what he can do. But are Saints fans overreacting at all by saying this guy's the future?
Live it up, man. Live it
up. I agree.
100% with you. Like I will never hold the fans' feet to the fire from being excited about their quarterback. I know you're in the same place there. And so for me, the thing that I look at though, from like the media perspective and us covering the team and responsibility that we have is to understand that going into 2026, this is his opportunity to prove that he's a franchise quarterback. I'm not going to start throwing the franchise label on him right away because I think that that's unfair to him, first of all.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And so I think that like that's where that responsibility has to happen. But for fans, like live it up, enjoy this. He's the future. He's your franchise quarterback. Like whatever it is that you want to say to your second cousin's a Falcons fan or whatever, and you want to rub it in a little bit on him because the Falcons are probably going to end up turning back to Kirk Cousins or something crazy in 2026. Like enjoy that.
Please do.
Right. Like that's your fodder for your fun, and no one should feel bad about that from the fan perspective. But I do think that for us, like we will be talking about Tyler Shough as the quarterback for 2026. He's the unquestioned starter. He has earned that opportunity. He was not gifted that opportunity. But I think that we have to be careful about throwing those labels out until he gets an opportunity to prove it. And I think a 17-game season with the opportunity to do that, people hate me when I say this, but I take it anyway. I don't know that we knew Drew Brees was a franchise quarterback after just 2006. You know what I mean? You needed time to kind of see that. It wasn't really until maybe 2007, 2008, 2009, he wins a Super Bowl. And then you're like, that's the franchise guy. And it was probably 2007, 2008 where it was like, oh, clearly this is like the dude going forward. You know what I mean? But he got the opportunity to prove that. We have to give Tyler Shough that same opportunity. But fans should live it up, take it, have fun, run, go.
You said something semi-negative about Drew Brees. That's blasphemy.
I know, people are gonna hate it. That's why I said like people
will lose their minds.
But that's the thing is like I didn't even say like the thing about it is that like it's not even a negative thing, but people do receive it as being a negative thing about Drew Brees. That's not the case. It's just that like Drew Brees proved over time that he was the guy. We have to expect Tyler Shough to use that time similarly, right? He's got to be able to take advantage of the time that he's going to get to. Drew Brees absolutely did that. I don't think that we want to make the call on Tyler Shough too early.
I mean, if you extrapolate Tyler Shough's numbers over the course of a full season, you're talking about well over 4,000 yards passing and with his legs. So, yeah. I mean, if he does this again, I mean, you're talking. If he does what he did for 17 games, then I don't think there's any way you can possibly say that he's not the future of your franchise if he does it over the course of a 17-game season. Now, with that caveat, you and I both know, I mean, we've looked at who the opponents are next year, and they're scheduled. They've had a pretty easy schedule for 3 years in a row, and even though they got the fourth-place schedule coming up, it still ain't easy next year. This is going to be the hardest schedule they face coming up in probably 4 or 5 years coming up this next year.
Yeah, the thing that helps them is that obviously they're going to be going up against a bunch of teams that have new head coaches. I think it's
that's true.
I think it's like they'll play 11 or 12 games against teams with new head coaches, including playing like Atlanta twice and stuff like that. But that's a huge shift for them. But it also creates this big unknown. Who are you actually playing? What's the identity? Does it eliminate the advantages of familiarity within the division? Things like that. Like that's going to be a big part of what also makes this upcoming season challenging is you can't look at the 2025 schedules and then say, okay, well, those are the teams that are playing in 2026 because obviously a lot's going to change.
Exactly.
But when those regime changes are happening at the top, the way that they're happening, that's a big part of what, creates a bit of uncertainty around what 2026 could truly look like for New Orleans.
I really would like to see the NFL, and let's make it clear. The NFL does not hate the Saints, by the way. I just wanted to get that up before I say the following. I would like to see the NFL make it so that, I mean, there's no question the toughest 4 games that the Saints had, except maybe the Rams, were right there in the beginning. And it was set up for them to be 0-4 from the start. And so, going back and I say, sometimes it's not fair to punch Spencer Rattler in the gut because, I mean, he had the toughest part of the schedule. There's no question that he did. I'm not, take nothing away. I'm not saying Spencer Rattler would have done what Tyler Shough did in the second half. I'm just saying that, he got a punch in the gut by facing those teams in the first 4 games. So let's just hope that this next year that they don't put all the toughest ones. You don't want to start out the year against Green Bay or Chicago or whatever, or the other teams you're going to have to play. Let's hope it's a little bit easier to start off this year.
Yeah, so that would be great for them.
Let me see if that's the case or not.
Spread that out a little bit.
Mark Gapsky wants to know, would you rather have Jeremiah Love or would you rather have Travis Etienne, who's a free agent?
Oh, Jeremiah Love. I do think Travis Etienne is really talented, though. Don't get me wrong. And, if he does truly become a free agent, then that would be somebody that could make sense as a free agency pursuit. But if you're asking me which one I'd rather have, give me the running back that has less years, on his belt, has more tread left on the tires, like all that. And also, by the way, I don't want to use the G word, a really good talent. Let's just say it that way.
Yep. Looking at his age, I'm kind of surprised. I didn't realize he was this young. I thought he was a little older than this, but he's only 26. So it's the same age as Tyler Shough. So we're now running backs. And I always talk about this when they hit when the first number becomes a 3, it's not like, I wish I could go back to when the first number was a 3 for me, Ross. I'm jealous of you. I'm assuming your first number is a 3. I go longer,
not very long.
Well, I wish I could go back to those days, but when you're a running back, you hit that number, that first number is a 3. You're pretty close to done. But Etienne has just turned literally. I take that back. He's going to be 27 next week. So January 26th will be 27. So you're talking. He's still got a few years left.
Yeah, and look, make no mistake about it. NFL teams think that way. Once that number becomes a 3, that's not just like a media thing. It's not. It is the way that NFL teams think. And so you talk about 3 years of a running back, or potentially 8 plus years when it comes to Jeremiah Love. I can't remember exactly how old he'll be at the time that the season starts, but 22, 23. Like, yeah, give me that. I mean, give me those years.
You only get a Derrick Henry or a Frank Gore like once every decade. So I'm just Frank Gore.
Frank Gore was one of my favorite running backs to watch, and no one talks about him.
Especially if you had him in fantasy football because he scored touchdowns all the time.
That dude was a touchdown machine. The Chris Carter of running backs.
Yeah, he was. That's the question. That's what he was. It seemed like he just kept scoring and scoring. He was like 49 years old and he was still scoring. Still that. But anyway, lastly, before we move on, last question to the Saints here. Kelvin Banks, tackles just don't get enough love. And I really thought that, look, Fuaga maybe not as good of a sophomore season as he had his rookie year, but still good. And I think the Saints are set at tackles, but you got to give Kelvin Banks some love. And you talked about some of the intangibles, and it was his leadership skills as well. And all that experience he had in college, the 42 games or whatever he played at Texas, I thought really paid off. And look, left tackle is maybe the toughest position to play in football. And I thought he did as well as he possibly could.
Yeah, especially when you're playing left tackle and no one is there to help you. The Saints left him on an island, as well as Taliesin Fuaga over on the other side. They left him on an island a ton. And just for clarification, when Jim and I are talking about leaving guys on an island as a tackle, we mean, there's not a double team coming from the guard. There's not a chip coming from the tight end or a double team from the tight end or a chip coming from the running back. Like they let their offensive linemen be offensive linemen in Kellen Moore's system. And he performed that well in that situation, which a lot of young offensive linemen don't even get trusted to have a situation like that. Like they very clearly trusted Kelvin Banks Jr. to a high percent. He was, kind of the target for them at number 9 the entire way. And so for him to have kind of cashed in on that opportunity the way that he did, and the Saints to get what it is that they wanted out of him so quickly, really, really impressive. He deserves a lot of accolades, and he's getting them. I know he allowed a lot of pressure, but that comes with being trusted as a tackle on an island. And so I think he did a fantastic job his rookie year, and deserves a lot of praise.
He really did. And look, don't get me wrong. He wasn't, he didn't go out there and he wasn't Teron Armstead, but he was he was everything you could have hoped that he was going to be, and shows that the future is really, really bright for him. By the way, Jeremiah Love is still just 20 years old. He will turn 21 on May 31st.
Goodness.
So give me some Jeremiah Love.
Give
me some of that. So
goodness.
Exactly. So, I mean, you get a guy like that and you sign him to a rookie deal and you get him for 4 years. And if he turns out to be, don't get me wrong, it's a different style than Alvin Kamara. But if he turns out to be the next Alvin Kamara, then you could have your running back for the next 8 years. Yeah. I mean, at that age. So that to me, that's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Chad Gage says
controlled for 4 of them. Yeah, potentially
absolutely.
5. Yeah,
exactly.
Huge.
I mean, it is what it is. Just why Chris Olave is about to get paid, and but he was worth every cent. Don't get me started on the people who don't like Chris Olave. I'm gonna get upset here.
I might have to get you started.
Oh, don't. No, we've been getting along so well, Ross. Chad says he would love a solid athletic tight end. And I know, speaking of players that fans don't like, but look, they paid Juwan Johnson that money. They're not going to go out and get a tight end early in the draft. They may get another one, and we may see what, and I always pronounce his name wrong, Motivayo. Pronounce it for me, Ross.
Matavao.
There you go. What he said. But I think he has potential to be a starting tight end. I just don't think that's among the priority list for this football team right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, look, they got top 5 tight end production from Juwan Johnson, and I know he had some. Say again.
I said they won't tell you you're right about that.
Oh, I know. He had some mishaps throughout the season. Don't get me wrong. Dropped a touchdown in the opening game. Had the fumble in the closing game. Like I get it. I get all that. But he was also one of the best tight ends in football in 2025 from a receiving standpoint. I do think that you are looking to add to that room, but I don't know that it's a priority. Just like what you were saying. Like you're probably looking for second tier, like second wave, third wave tight ends, maybe in free agency. You're looking at day 3 tight ends in the draft. And it's a pretty good draft class for that. One guy that I like, Tanner Kaziel, really, really, kind of young tight end out of Houston, 6'7", 250 something. Red zone threat, cool. Great blocker, cool. I like Charlie Collar as well, coming out of Baltimore. He'll be a free agent there. Everybody's going to focus on Isaiah Likely as a free agent tight end coming out of there.
Well, they should.
Right, and completely understandably so. But Collar is one of those guys that has some untapped receiving potential and is a fantastic protection player, especially in the run game. And so that could be your Jack Stoll replacement if Jack Stoll's not back, your Foster Moreau guy if Foster Moreau is not back. Like, I still think that there's some of those fill-ins that they'll need, but I don't think they're going to go after a top, a Kenyon Sadiq or something like that in the draft, like the tight end out of Miami who might be a first rounder. I don't think that they're digging for that this offseason, but you can help the position group out for sure with some more responsible signings.
I lied. I forgot. I did want to bring up the defensive side of the ball semi quickly. We've kind of over talked this, but just your thoughts real quick. Do you think that either or Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, is it, how many come back of that group? Is it 0, 1, or 2?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, gosh, I mean, the real answer is I have no idea, because this is such a unique. Dude, we've never seen anything like this.
Man.
Like what do you do in this contract negotiation? Like, do you go to Cam Jordan and say, we want to pay you this much because you're 36, 35, 36 years old and you might not have production? Or do you go to him and you pay him like a guy that just had 10.5 sacks the season before? Like, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. And how you handle that negotiation is insane. Same thing for Demario Davis. Do you go and you pay him like the guy who just wrapped up his 14th season? Or do you pay him like the guy who just set a career high in tackles in his 14th season? Like, which one of those things do you do? And so I think the thing with both of those players is that they very well could both be back, but the contract negotiation is going to be one of the more, for both those guys, going to be one of the more intriguing ones to happen for any player around the league that's trying to stay where they are. Now, I think ultimately, at least Cam is back, because I don't think that Cam is A, done playing football, and B, is willing to play football anywhere else. So I think eventually they'll find something to make that happen. Even
if it's incentive laden.
Yeah, 100%. Like, they gave him incentives this past year, and look what he did. On his second fewest snaps in his career, he made every single one of them things back. And so you could potentially do that, but it is really intriguing. So I'll say maybe one of those. Like, if the over-under was at 1.5, I'd take the under, is the way that I would say it. But very well could be both of them back, especially with, like, Demario was doing charity events here in New Orleans, community events here in New Orleans, like last week. And, has been like I don't think Paris he wants ambassador. To go anywhere. I don't think so either. Yeah, it comes down to, is the money right? And that's going to be really tricky, because which metric do you use to pay these guys? The age of the production, No,
and look, it's going to be tough, because Demario Davis, even at his age, is still going to command a pretty decent salary, and you got to decide whether you want to pay it or not. And I mean, that's,
somebody's going to give it to him.
Someone will give it. Look, when you have career highs in tackles 2 years in a row at this age, because that's what happened 2 years in a row. Your career high. I mean, how does that happen? First of all, I mean, the man's a freak of nature. I mean, so, but you try to get that back, and I really think, I would actually take the over, because I think the Saints are going to do whatever they can. There have been a lot of the Saints don't normally care about PR among their fans. A lot of times, I think they just do whatever they think they need. I think in this case that they care. I think that fans want both of those guys back.
And they didn't raise season ticket prices.
I saw that this morning. By the way, breaking news this morning: the Saints did not raise ticket. Well, I mean, how can you raise ticket prices when you win? When you go 5-12 and then 6-11? I don't care how excited people are.
You ask any NFL club out there, hey, you've got a strong defense with a top defensive player. You've got a potential quarterback of the future. You have the best fan excitement that you've had in 4 years. Are you going to keep ticket prices the same? I would say probably 28 out of 32 say no, and that they would up the ticket prices in those situations. So it's not about can you do it, it's are you willing to do it?
And the Saints have before done it when they probably shouldn't have.
Right.
So although they could have this year, it's probably best if they didn't.
Yeah, they made the right call.
So I think they definitely made the right call there. Last question before we move on. A-Town wants to know, can the Saints afford Kyle Pitts? I just don't see them going in that direction. I don't see them spending the money on that.
Yeah, could they afford him? Probably, but should they? It's the Kai Harley thing. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it, right? That's one of his rules. And so I think that that's where I would put the Kyle Pitts thing. I think Kyle Pitts' career has been far too inconsistent to pay
Right.
him the money that he's probably going to command on the market. And there's probably smarter ways to invest that money. The Saints have a receiving tight end. They're fine there. They need somebody that can block. And Kyle Pitts can't block so much that that's how Carl Granderson got an interception in the final game of the year. Carl Granderson told us in the locker room after the game, he said, once number 8 looked like tried to show me that he was going to try to block me by himself, I knew they were running a tight end screen because ain't no way 8's trying to block me. He's a giveaway on
Also,
your team.
I agree with One Smoke. I mean, look, as someone that has had Kyle Pitts on his fantasy football team like the past 4 years and keep saying I'm not going to do it, and then I end up doing it again. Look, he was great the last third of the season, but really he's been a major disappointment. Now that last third of the season is going to get him paid, but that doesn't mean that the Saints need to go out and spend money on a guy who had one good third of a season, because in my opinion, that's all he's really had.
Yeah, different type of tight end than what I think they need. They might disagree with me, but different type of tight end from what I think they need.
We'll see what Kevin Stefanski thinks, and that leads us moving on to the NFL portion of the show. I'm not going to keep you too long on this, but Ross, I wanted to get your thoughts, and especially on the whole. I kind of alluded that we were going to talk about this for a second. The whole Baker Stefanski thing. I got kind of a kick out of it, especially when the Saints aren't involved and stuff like this. But Baker said in a quote about Kevin Stefanski becoming the next coach of the Atlanta Falcons. And for those of you that don't remember, Kevin Stefanski was Baker Mayfield's coach with the Cleveland Browns, and Baker helped him win Coach of the Year a couple of times. But Baker says in a quote, failed is quite the reach, talking about what happened. Failed is quite the reach. Still waiting on a text call from him after I get shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, Coach. The drama in the NFC South. Get your popcorn ready, Ross Jackson. I am looking forward to this one. Baker and the Atlanta Falcons. I guess he doesn't hate the Saints as much as he used to.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He admitted to being a Saints fan by the end of the season and everything like that. I get that there was some ulterior motive there, but I feel like maybe that's a little bit deeper than we think it is. And so, no, I genuinely think that now all of a sudden Tampa Atlanta is going to be very, very interesting. Tampa fans have wanted so long to have a rival that considers them a rival. Maybe this finally gets them that as well. And so I think that this is going to be a ton of fun. I think the NFC South is going to be a much better division next year than people think that it's going to be, which is good news and bad news for New Orleans, because they'll be part of the reason why it's going to be better or they could be part of the reason why it's going to be better than people think that it's going to be, but it's also going to make it a little bit more challenging. Part of the reason why their schedule is sneaky tough is because the NFC South is getting better. And things like this only make it better. There was a big conversation that happened after the divisional round of the playoffs, where we were talking about how the NFL is. It was Duncan was talking about how the NFL is the television's best product or whatever. It's things like this that make it even better and better and better. And Baker, Baker's a petty dude, and I mean that in a positive way, right? We're petty. We're from Louisiana. We're all petty. And so petty being a compliment in this scenario, I love that he took the opportunity to take a shot here. It's like the weigh-ins in a boxing match, right? Part of the reason why the boxing match is so exciting is because you can't wait to see what's going to happen at the weigh-ins, when these guys get the opportunity to talk trash to one another, look face to face with one another. That's kind of what this felt like to me.
No, I loved it. I'm with you. Yeah. It's anything that, like you say, you can eat popcorn and watch somebody else. But you talk about petty. It's like Panthers fans. I was looking at something on social media, and I don't even know who the guy was, but he had his rankings of quarterbacks or franchises over the course of the next 10 years and who their quarterbacks are, and things are looking up. And he got really ticked off that Bryce Young was ranked lower than CJ Stroud. And Panthers fans take they might be the most I'm not going to put this without being too nasty here, but they get their feelings hurt sort of like Ole Miss fans get their feelings hurt. I mean, they are that brittle. Well, brittle's the right word. They're just a little bit brittle. I mean, Bryce Young's just not that great. The Saints have just killed him over the course of his career, and keep Bryce Young. I think you should keep him 10 more years. But
yeah,
it's just so funny.
go for it.
Exactly. So you just go through, and I just think this entire division, I agree with you that it's getting better. And I think there could be a lot of drama in this division next year.
Yeah. And we're all the better for it. We're all the better for it. It should be fun. It'll be nice to see the NFC South look like, I don't know, I'm thinking about like the competition level, not the records, but I'm just looking at like the competition level of like the AFC North, which always cannibalizes itself. The competition level of the NFC East, which at one point was starting to get to that place where everyone was super competitive in that division. It'll be nice to see the NFC South get there. And for the winner of the NFC South, who, by the way, over the course of the past 3 years, or over the course of the past 5 years since a 17-game season, like, has been a single-digit win team, has won the division now 3 times in the last 5 years, which is insane.
And then one and done.
And then they've been one and done, right? And they've been looked at as kind of the castaway of the NFC playoff field.
Baker.
Right. And so it'll be nice to see an NFC South team finally get to the number 4 seed or whatever by actually winning football games, not everyone else around them losing football games.
It would be nice. I mean, when the Saints were winning, they were
winning.
They were winning, like really winning. And it wasn't just they were limping in at 9-8 or whatever. Who dat daddy? Good morning, welcome. Who dat? Getting ready for this. Oh yeah, who dat daddy's is living in Dallas, and it's going to be really nasty. And you know, we're talking about warm weather. Ross likes it when it's 74 and above. Yeah, I like it when it's 55 and below. But I might say 80. I don't want 80 or above.
I might say
he's okay in 70, Miami.
79. I'm throwing like a light coat on at least.
Oh, you and Deanna would get along really well. But yeah, I feel for the man. This ice storm is for real. Not to get off on tangents. I don't know. I don't think it's going to affect either one of these games coming up this weekend. By the way, and the weather in Denver, according to the Weather Channel, the high in Denver on Sunday is 25 degrees. With a low later that at night at 5. The game is at 2:00 Central Time, which means 1:00 in Denver. So they should have the warmest temperatures of 25. But still, I mean, I don't really think that's going to affect the game all that much. New England and Denver, and instead of Bo Nix, it's no Nix because he's gone. And now they got Jarrett Stidham, and the Patriots are going in there as 5.5-point favorites. You call them snake bit or whatever you want. The Broncos are going to have to lean on Vance Joseph's defense.
Yeah, big time. Which, I mean, look, they've done to success in certain situations, but the end game Bo Nix loss, I think, is the biggest thing that they'll have to absorb here in Denver. He's got 7 game-winning drives in 2025, and then helped to again lead another one in the playoffs in that really exciting playoff matchup against the Bills. Right. I think that's the area where Denver is going to struggle the most, not having Bo Nix. It might just be the passing game as a whole. We don't know. Jarrett Stidham, like, who are you really turning to here? But if they're down, I don't know, 2 points, 3 points in the last 2 minutes of the game, and they've got the football, you're not feeling the same way as a Denver Broncos fan with Jarrett Stidham under center as you would have with Bo Nix. Oh,
there's no doubt about that. But a lot of this handicapping, when you go and look at and you're trying to figure out what's going to happen here. Look, Drake May, as fantastic as he's been in his second season overall, first really full season of play. Mm-hmm. In the playoffs, he's kind of been – his turnovers have been overshadowed by the fact that they played a team in the Chargers that just probably shouldn't have been in the playoffs. Their offensive line was awful, and they just got the Patriots defense just beat up Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Yeah. And then this past week, CJ Stroud just having kind of a meltdown. So, but in the meantime, though, Drake May has turned the ball over quite a bit too. And if Denver can force turnovers like the other two teams did, I think that there's no question. I think don't count out these Broncos. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a New England Patriots dog walking the Denver Broncos situation. Agreed. Here. I think this is going to be a closer game than maybe people expect. This might be a final field goal wins it. Whoever's last possession wins it, whatever that might look like. I think you feel better about that right now if you're the New England Patriots than if you're the Denver Broncos. But this could go either way, in my opinion. I think 5.5 is
a big time. You know,
That
I
is
think that's a
no,
big.
it's gone from
spread.
4.5. So people are betting on New England.
Right. And so for me, I think like you can't count Sean Payton out in these situations. Sean Payton would 5-0 with Teddy Bridgewater. Like, we'll see what happens. And he has, and again, I think the biggest X factor in this game, and I said this about the Buffalo game too, that the biggest X factor is going to be Denver's defense. And if Denver's defense can make one more play than New England's offense does, that could be the deciding factor, regardless of who's behind center for them. And so I can't wait for this matchup. I think this is going to be, I have fingers crossed for another classic. I think we got 2 classics last weekend.
I agree.
My fingers are crossed for another one here in the AFC Championship.
Vance Joseph from Archbishop Shough High School.
Right.
I'm just gonna put that out there. You know, I don't have any bias towards Archbishop Shough High School or anything. Bart Prudhomme says that Sean Payton is going to fake a punt and a field goal to win the game. And I will say this about Sean Payton: he does some of his. You kind of alluded to it. He does some of his best work when he's got adversity to get over, and like you talked about with Teddy Bridgewater, it wasn't just Teddy Bridgewater, it's other backup quarterbacks as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if he focuses more. I mean, you're going to focus, it's the AFC Championship game, but sometimes he just does his best work when maybe things aren't going his way.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we tend to, I don't know if it's that we don't talk about it enough or whatever it might be, like there's something here in terms of how it is that a head coach becomes a part, especially a play caller head coach, an offensive play caller head coach, how important they are to contributing on the football field. Like if you don't have Bo Nix and you have Jarrett Stidham, he's scheming things to make the game a little bit easier for Jarrett Stidham. He's scheming things up to work so that he's throwing to wide open receivers as opposed to blanketed receivers and things like that. Like maybe you don't trust him to do the tight window throws the way that you do a Bo Nix. And so you're creating and implementing and adding things to the system that are specifically schemed up. When we talk about scheme, we're talking about this versus this. When we're talking about system, we're just talking about this. So you're using your system to scheme against the New England defense to open up opportunities to make the game a little bit more advantageous for a Jarrett Stidham. And I think that's where Sean Payton is, I don't know, I don't want to say one of one, but one of few when it comes to his ability to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just the whole X's and O's. And if you're a thinking man, football kind of guy, and you like to dive inside, and not just watch, you're just watching the game to see who scores next or whatever. You're actually, looking at how they form the defense or how they lining up on offense. And it's more than, are you going to go for it on 4th and 5? This is the game for you, because to me, these are 2 of the top 5 coaches in football. I don't think there's any doubt that Mike Vrabel and Sean Payton are 2 of the best coaches in the National Football League. And speaking of best coaches, maybe number 1 is Sean McVay. Because, look, the Rams, every time they seem like, they win the Super Bowl, then they look like they're done. Matt Stafford looks like he's done. And then they come back and, you lose one of the greatest defensive players that ever played the game. But now Jared Versus looks like he's filling in. It looks like Aaron Donald to some extent. I mean, the Rams just keep reloading. And Sean McVay, to me, is a huge reason why the Rams are who they are.
The Rams are one of the most mentally mature football teams you're going to watch.
Good way to put it.
Or throughout you watch throughout 2025. I don't think people really understand how hard that was to turn things around after that incredible Caleb Williams chuck it for a prayer, Cole Kmet in the back of the end zone. And how it is to experience that when you're riding high already. What was that, 4th and 4?
Right.
You're riding high already. You think you're about to get off the football field. You think you're about to secure a win, and then that happens. And then on top of all that, it's freaking snowing outside. You know how much I hate that. Or at least, listen, if it's gonna be cold, it might as well be cold for a reason. That's the way that I feel about it. So if there's snow on the ground, I feel a little bit better about it. But anyway, and then to have that happen and to have to take in Soldier Field, one of the most historied, stadiums in, or whatever they're calling it now. So, taking that all in Chicago, like, you have to be so mentally tough as not just individual players, but team leadership. Matthew Stafford has to stay composed. Sean McVay can't get too high or too low. That, their staff can't get high or too low in those situations. Like, coming back from that is not easy. And I think, like, one of the biggest things that I want to credit that team for is sort of that mental fortitude there, because that was incredible to watch.
It really was. And, look, we'll get to Mike McDonald in a minute because I think he's, one obviously going to this young and up and coming coach that could be in the ballpark of these other three guys that we talk about. And I was going to ask you the question, is it going to be the first ever championship game amongst coaches who are younger than 40? However, while Sean McVay is younger than 40 today, he won't be younger than 40 when the game is played on Sunday. His birthday actually is Saturday. He turns 40 on Saturday. So for his birthday, so that kind of ruins the whole narrative. Us journalists, we like narratives.
Love a story. Love a story.
And that kind of but still, you're talking about a coach and Mike McDonald that is 38 years old. He was born in 1987. These two coaches, they were both born after I graduated from high school. That's how sick this is. I mean, that's sickening.
I just hit the other day the moment where it was like, oh, kids that were born the year I graduated high school are now graduating high school this year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's insane. That's crazy.
It really is. Yeah. Wait till you get a grandkid and another one on the way, really, and a step grandkid. So I'm gonna have 3 grandchildren in a couple of months. So that's
congratulations.
Really
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations, or whatever it is that you're feeling.
Well, the gray isn't completely invaded yet, so we're okay right now. But just talk about both. You talked about Sean McVay. I mean, Mike McDonald. I mean, and what he's been able to do. I don't know that the Seahawks are the Legion of Boom, but they have their defense is really good. Look, I get that they played a decimated San Francisco team last week, but man, I think the Rams are going to have their hands full this week, obviously.
Yeah. That defensive scheme in Seattle is so well coached. They communicate incredibly well, especially over on the back end in the secondary. They understand the idea of, triggering and replacing. So if you have, just for instance, if you have a route that's moving from one zone into the other, and one safety has to vacate the area where they were to cover that receiver, there's somebody that knows that their job is to replace that safety so that there's not a void left. Like, they do such a good job communicating all this and everything. You talk about watching X's and O's and everything like that. The really both sides of this, but specifically the Rams offense versus Seattle's defense is going to be an incredible part to watch. For that, the Rams do a lot of really interesting things. Like, we're talking about a Sean McVay system that went from running, dominating the NFL with 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver sets, and now they're marching out 3 tight ends as often as anybody else in the playoffs. And you're having to watch this, hyper athletic Seattle defense have to match up with that, but then the sort of amoeba-like presence of that defense going up against all the different things that Sean McVay can do in a condensed set. Like, there's just so much of, hey, this is what today's football looks like in this game when it's the Rams offense and the Seattle defense. And I don't mean to discount the matchup of the Seattle offense versus the Rams defense. That has a lot of its own right, but Los Angeles' defense is so brute force that it's fun to watch for a different reason.
Sam Darnold, all that.
Yeah. I don't know. I never bought in on it.
Neither did I.
But I think the thing is, he is, and okay, here we go. We're ready to embark on this conversation. Thrives.
Wow, I didn't even know I opened that can.
Yeah, he thrives in a system, and I'm saying that, and the reason why I'm like, listen, we're talking about this again, is because like the system quarterback conversation was so overblown at one point where it was a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. If you can run a system, you can be an outstanding quarterback in the NFL. And I think over the course of the past 2 years, Kevin O'Connell, Clint Kubiak, Sam Darnold has fallen in love with the system that he's in, and you can see it translate out on the football field. This dude can run a system. Leave him to his own devices and he crumbles, but if you have him in a system where he can run what it is that they're doing and can orchestrate, game manage, all those other things, he will get the best out of what it is that you have to offer. You just have to put him in a system that he's comfortable in. And this Clint Kubiak system, which is very quarterback friendly, has been awesome for him so far this year. But I don't think you can pick him up and put him in 31 other situations and he'll have the same success. If you put him in situations where he has to kind of be a hero and all these other things, I don't think he'd thrive in that.
Bleep alert. Maybe it was just the goddamn Jets. I mean, maybe that,
yeah, right. Who'd have thunk?
I mean, maybe
right?
that's just the answer.
Yeah, and then look at where he's been since then, right? He went through the Shanahan car wash in San Francisco, came out of the other side of that. He was with Kevin O'Connell. Now he's with Clint Kubiak over in Seattle. Like, yeah, maybe it was just the Jets. Maybe it was just the Jets.
That's a possibility. You just can't. Shocker. I mean, just don't look. Who can blame Dante Moore? Said, the hell with it. I'm not going to play for the Jets. I'm going to go back to Oregon. I'd rather take $8 million less and go play at Oregon than go play with the Jets. And just roll the dice and hope they're not the number one pick next year. So I can't even blame him for doing it. By the way, A-Town, who's going to hire Coach Gucci? He is now the offensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Chargers. And good luck with that. That ain't gonna work. But
Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, we call him Coach Gucci here in the show. I refuse to call him by his name. Robert Saleh, by the way, looks like he's going to the Titans as well. All right, before I let you go, your predictions. Give me your predictions. We've talked about the matchups. I think the headline says, "Can title games continue the drama in these playoffs?" I think they absolutely will.
Yes.
No matter who, I'd be more shocked not at who wins. But if they're not very tight ball games, I am looking forward to this. I am very sad that there are only 3 football games left in the season. But give me your predictions. Who goes to Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, California?
Yeah, I'm going Patriots close. I'm going Rams close. Those are the 2 that I've got.
A rematch of the Super Bowl we won't mention. We're not going to mention the last time they met in the Super Bowl, but the time before that they played in the Super Bowl just happened to be in New Orleans. And some dude named Brady played his first Super Bowl game ever. And I think that turned out okay for him.
Brady Cook? No, I'm just kidding.
Brady's something.
Brady something, not something Brady. Brady something, never heard of him. No, it'd be awesome. And by the way, I think this one is going to be far more entertaining than the one that shall not be named, because oh my goodness, that was the worst Super Bowl ever.
I didn't watch it, Ross. I got to be honest. I made a
I was in a
won that easy, and I refused to watch it.
Yeah, I was in a tech rehearsal for a show at that time, and I literally followed it on like the game cast or whatever.
I didn't even do that.
By looking at it like every hour or something like that. And that was it.
The true degenerate that I am, when a degenerate is pissed off, he goes and plays poker. And I went and played poker. They had it on, but I made sure that I had my back turned to the TV.
I can't sit here. I need to know. Can you give me that? Give me that.
I want to watch it. Breaking news this morning. It's in the world of baseball and the ridiculous contracts that are. Cubs fans were hoping that Cody Bellinger would go back to Chicago. He is not. He is in agreement with the New York Yankees. 5 years, $162 million.
Dang.
Baseball needs a salary cap more than I need lunch.
Man, baseball needs a salary cap, but let me get 500,000 off of you, Cody. Like let me just
exactly. Can you spot me 100K?
Come on.
I mean, can you take me to dinner at Ruth's Chris?
I'm saying
something. In my best Chris Rock style. I mean, can you help a brother out?
Great reference. Fantastic reference.
Ross Jackson, always fun. I can't wait to talk to you again. We will certainly have you on before the draft. Always the Dat family loves when you come on. We will have you on much sooner, I promise, than 7 months or whatever the hell it's been since the last time you on. Enjoy the ice this weekend. Go layer up, my friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna layer up big time. I appreciate you, man. Absolute pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
And don't forget, I need the recipe for those ginger margaritas.
I got you.
We'll talk to you later. Ross Jackson, everybody. Absolutely. I highly recommend ginger margaritas. They are outstanding. Just saying. I know you're supposed to drink on the air. I mean, UBN. I mean, I am I supposed to? What am I doing? Gonna give them a virtual drink? Doesn't work the same. I mean, he could have made his own, I guess. S. Callie, good morning. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Jerry's fired up. Let's get it. JC's loves Ross. Jerry loves Ross. Yeah. Ryan Ashe says, I think it's a good fit for Coach Gucci and Herbert and Harbaugh. Maybe. I just don't want to give the dude any credit. Sorry. Because as we were talking about before, the word came up earlier in the show. I'm going to use the word petty because I can. I'm petty. When it comes to jack clowns like Coach Gucci, I'm going to be petty. When it comes to the world of the Sam Darnolds of the world, who I think just are overrated and stink, yeah, petty. Because it's who I am. I don't want me to not be who I am, right? You know who is who we thought they were? Who is just that, all that in a bag of beans? Or maybe bag of jelly beans, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. It's Evangeline Securities. We told you about our friends at Evangeline Securities. We're going to tell you about them again. Of course, they're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. And just as importantly, they can figure out what that business is worth. That's you, someone you know, someone you love, someone you say, you know what? I don't really love this person. They're not way up here on my list, but they need my help, damn it. And I'm going to give it to them. They want to sell their business. They want to know what it's worth. Reach out to Evangeline's founding partner, Nick Braden. He will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation from his office either on Poydras Street or in Lafayette. And from there, you'll be well informed to begin to make the decision on if you want to proceed. What happens after that? We'll fill you in more. No, we won't. We're not going to fill you in more in the leisure. We're going to tell you. I read the wrong one. Dumbass. I am the dumbass of the week. There we go. We haven't had one in a while. Pop the champagne. Jim Derry is the dumbass of the week. Evangeline Securities, the top producer on that platform. There are very few companies like him in this area. None. With their dedication and success. They're fully licensed and ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick about what's really important. Oh, my God. And it's not me screwing up the reads. No, you know what's really important? The rest of your life. I didn't screw that up. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. That is www.evangelinesecurities.com. 10th member. We've got 10 members already. Thank you so much, S. Callie, for being the newest YouTube member. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate all members of the Dattitude family. If you weren't here and listen to me spiel about being a member, I am not going to go through the whole spiel again. I know y'all don't want to hear it, but just know that the latest way to support the channel is to become a member, an official member of the Dattitude family, or, just support the channel. There are 2 tiers. We told you why earlier. Again, you can rewind and find out why, but we would love for you to be a member. You automatically become part of our Slack channel where we have a group. It's basically like group texting all day long. You can be a part of it. You don't have to be a part of that if you don't want. You also get to vote in member polls, and you're going to get merch if you join the top tier. Whatever you decide to do, we appreciate your support of the channel. At the bare minimum, if you haven't subscribed yet to the Dattitude podcast, we appreciate if you do that on YouTube. Gabe Henderson, what is going on this morning? S. Callie, she loves the show. She even loves UBN. Sometimes I love UBN. Sometimes he's a pain in my ass.
If for no other reason, everyone should want to join the Slack channel solely to see UBN's profile picture.
I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait.
You're going to love it.
S. Callie and his mom are the only 2 people that love UBN. Earl's Picks here. What's up? What's up with you, Gabe Henderson? It is Wednesday with Gabe Henderson, by the way. Not much. I love when Ross comes on. And again, way too long in between takes with Ross because he is a fantastic guest. Look, I talk about it really is. It's just fantastic. Charles, you want to know how to upgrade to the top tier of membership? I think you just go back into I don't know.
Ask UBN because I think UBN might have done it.
Yeah, UBN. Maybe you can tell them how. I think you just. I don't know if you can click back on the join thing and then go to the top membership, or maybe you can adjust your membership. I'm not sure. There are 2 tiers. Yes, we have a member. You can become a member now, Earl. Absolutely. And you become part of our Slack channel where we talk. All right. Earl, there it is. He's already a new member. Didn't waste any time. The 11th member. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. It says, UBN says, go to see perks, then go to upgrade. And we appreciate that. All right. I want to start. Daryl says we're going to have 6 to 8 inches snow in Little Rock. I know Houston is expecting some ice, and we're on the cusp of the ice line. So I hope it's just rain here, because I don't get me wrong, I like a good snowstorm once every 10 years or 5 years, but I don't want nothing to do with that ice. That stuff is nasty, and I'll bust my ass. The last time we had a big ice storm was 2011 was the last time we had a pretty big one, and I slipped on my ass in the driveway trying to go get something out of my truck at the time. And let me just say, that 11, let's say, what is that, 15 years ago? 15 years ago, slipping on my ass didn't hurt nearly as bad as it would today. I might break a hip if I do that today. So let's not have the ice.
I wonder how many people in the Dat family would pay to see that.
Oh, yeah.
I will say, though, now...
Raymond, thank you so much for being a YouTube member. We so much appreciate that. Yeah. Let's keep that up there, Daryl. We don't want that.
Now that we're getting ice and all that, I finally got you. One of the perks of living in the South, and most viewers will know this, is you don't have to mess with your sprinkler system and get it ready for the winter. But I'm now going to be forced to go do that in the rain today and prep that for the upcoming freeze.
All right, I want to enough talk about the ice and the snow. Y'all don't want to hear us talk about that. And we appreciate all the new members. We now have 12 on our first day of memberships. We appreciate it so much. Raymond, again, thank you so much for being the latest member. And again, we're going to have to find a way for you to, would y'all, all the members that are in here right now, please send me your email address. Jim@jimderry.com is my email address. Please send it to me so we can get you hooked up with the Slack channel if you want to get in. And we can talk to one another. Gabe and UBN and I will certainly be following it. We'll have it. I'm going to put it on my phone eventually, and I will be in there at most of my waking hours in there. If you type something in, we'll probably type back, just like we show you a comment here on the show. All right. I want to start off this morning. Well, it's not this morning anymore. It's this afternoon. But breaking news.
We're starting off.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean. To start the show, we talked about Lane Kiffin poaching another one from Ole Miss, and he got one of the top edge rushers in the portal. And I'm going to butcher his name again, but I'm going to say it anyway. Prince Will, and I spelled his name wrong. It's Human Malin. So anyway, can you pronounce it better than I can?
Human Malin? I'm not sure.
Anyway, one of the fact
I can't pronounce it when I'm not looking at the right name.
Don't just tell me again. Aren't you having fun when he keeps poaching these guys? I mean, isn't this fun? You know,
LSU's now signed 2 of the top 3 players in the portal. So yeah, absolutely, I'm having fun. And this is what I expect. I know a lot of people weren't thrilled about Lane Kiffin getting here, and he hasn't coached a game yet, but this is exactly what I expected with Lane Kiffin. He's an excellent recruiter.
I mean, and look, I got to say, again, I said it earlier, everybody knows I'm not the biggest Lane Kiffin fan, but I certainly am appreciating all the things that he's done so far.
Did you see have you seen what he's been doing to try and lure this Colorado left tackle to LSU?
No, I didn't actually.
So he had him on a multi-day visit at LSU. Kid didn't commit, went home to Atlanta. Lane Kiffin then hopped in a private jet and flew to Atlanta to go try and convince him again.
I did not say that.
He's flying all across the country.
Chad on Slack, will we send an invite? Yes, we will send an invite to you. And Earl is ready for the merch. We're going to figure out what that's going to be. UBN says, to be fair, we're not Kiffin fans because we don't trust him. And that probably is the only reason why I'm not a fan, is because I don't trust him. It's not just because I don't trust him to stay more than 3 or 4 years. He's going to whatever I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. And I know how to explain everything. I just don't trust them. I guess I should, but it's Human Malin, by the way.
I don't care when coaches leave. Leaving is an inevitability in the sports world. just win and give it your all while you're here, and that's certainly what Lane Kiffin's doing.
Look, if he comes in here and he gets LSU to the playoffs next year, and then within the next 3 years they win a national championship, although that's kind of like going over the top because he's never won a national championship before, but who knows? He's 50. He's still young, and 50 is young in the coaching world. I mean, so look, if he gets this team back to where they were just a few years ago, then then LSU fans are gonna be happy. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, that's what it's about.
Exactly.
So, what do you think, by the way, about the offensive tackle that they're trying to lure? Do you think he's going to come here?
I'd say based on the fact that he left Baton Rouge without a commitment, and Lane Kiffin then
does
left
look like he's going to
Atlanta,
Oregon.
and Dan Lanning flew out to Atlanta and met with them last night, I believe. I would say he probably goes to Oregon.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pretend to be an insider. I'm just trying to read through the tea leaves.
All right, number in the portal now that LSU has successfully drug over in the portal, 42. That is insane. 42. It's almost an entire NFL roster. 42. This goes to show you how different this game is going to be.
It's going to get harder and harder as a college sports fan to
it really is
familiarize yourself with these teams.
Yeah. I don't know. People your age, I think, are probably more going to deal with it easier because this is the college football that they know. And it's obviously been going in this direction, trending in this direction in the last 3, 4, 5 years. The get off my lawn, dude, people like me, it's going to be harder for someone like me to keep up with all this. All right. What do you want to talk about this morning? Besides, I did want to bring that up, and it looks, another poach job. Ole Miss fans. Sorry if we got Ole Miss fans who are regulars here on Dat.
So you mentioned the need for a poll question today, and I saw a hypothetical, or I guess not a hypothetical, but a question the other day, and it was, at their peak, which running back would you cut? And the 4 options were Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson, Derrick Henry, and Christian McCaffrey.
You're talking about like if you were going to make a Mount Rushmore and there's a no.
If you had to cut one from this list, who would it be? Between Adrian Peterson, LT,
that's tough.
Derrick Henry, and Christian McCaffrey.
All right. Well, there's your poll question of the day. Who is number 4 on that list? I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Who is the 4th best on that list? Derrick Henry, McCaffrey, AP, and who was the other one?
It was LaDainian Tomlinson,
LT. Peterson. Okay. Now look, a lot of people are going to vote for Adrian Peterson and or
wrong
LaDainian
answer.
Tomlinson. No, I'm not saying that's what I'm voting for.
Oh.
I'm just saying they will do that because they are the furthest out of mind. But this is a tough choice. So I'm going to say, by process of elimination, I guess I'm going to vote. Oh, that's tough. I would say I would have to say McCaffrey.
I completely agree with you.
Probably because he's banged up more than any of the other 3 were. So he wasn't as consistent as the other 3 were. It's certainly, if I'm going to only have one of those, as much as I love me some LT, and I do love me some LT, I would have to take Derrick Henry of that group. That would be my number 1.
I would probably take LT.
But I don't think you can go wrong. There's really no way you can go wrong. But I think McCaffrey's got to be the one. A-Town says McCaffrey. One Smoke says McCaffrey. Earl says that's tough. It's true. So if y'all want to vote, go ahead. I'm assuming Charles means McCaffrey by this. So it looks like McCaffrey. But, again, only McCaffrey because not that he's not as good as those other dudes, but probably just the consistency, the consistent level. And he's been kind of almost if you look at his numbers, whenever he has an absolutely fantastic year, usually the next year he kind of stinks. Yes, S. Kelly, please send me your email address and we'll get you in there in the Slack channel. Earl says Derrick Henry doesn't catch like LT did. Yeah, but LT can't run over a Tonka truck either. I'm just saying. Chad says Derrick Henry, the others seem to be better. No.
I'm very glad I haven't seen. So I ask my friends the same question,
It's
and
interesting.
the only differing response that I got back, someone said Adrian Peterson, which I think is absolutely the wrong
No,
answer.
you can't pick Adrian Peterson.
Yeah,
Adrian
I would.
Peterson, during his time, Adrian Peterson was unquestionably
Mhm.
the best running back of his time. It's not debatable.
No.
So for a period of time, and honestly, even when LT played, there were times when like he was going up against. I know people will maybe balk when I say this, but I mean Clinton Portis for a while was up. If you look at some of the numbers,
the
but
name I
I
thought
mean
you were
LT
gonna
was
say.
just other guy. I mean, he played the same time as Emmitt Smith towards the end of his career as well.
Sean Alexander is who I thought.
Sean Alexander, who got a crap ton of money and then kind of just fizzled out. Just goes to show why you just can't give anybody.
One of my favorite running backs from that kind of mid to late 2000s era was always Maurice Jones-Drew. He's not in those conversations.
Yeah, right.
I loved Maurice Jones-Drew, even as a Texans fan.
Sean asked, and if you still want to comment on the poll question, please feel free. We will show your answer. But right now, it looks like Christian McCaffrey is leading the poll question. And again, the poll question coming up starting, and I'm going to show this again in a second, Sean. The poll question in the next, I'd say we're going to wait and get a few more members. But when we get to 20 members, we'll make the poll question is going to be members only. So only members will be able to. Now, you'll be able to comment on it when we bring it up, but the poll question will be known to the members at least a day in advance, and they will get to vote on it. So that's how we're going to do that. Sean asks, will Kevin Stefanski outperform Raheem Morris? And my answer to that is Kevin Stefanski will make Raheem Morris look like, how should I put this? What's the nice way to put it? Comparing Kevin Stefanski to Raheem Morris is like comparing Dennis Allen to Bill Belichick. Maybe it's not that bad.
My only question and my response to Sean would be: is Kevin Stefanski showing up day one? Is he gonna be at work?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then that's my answer as well.
I cannot believe the absolute bum rap that Kevin Stefanski is getting. He's like, I saw so many people going, man, okay, or that's a terrible hire.
Browns.
I'm like, are y'all crazy? I mean, seriously, the dude won a Coach of the Year with the Cleveland Browns. Two. He won two Coaches of the Year award. I said this the other day, and I'll say it again. Vince Lombardi could have come back from the dead, and the Browns would have stunk the past couple of years, especially last year with the just joke of a situation they have at quarterback that's not changing anytime soon, by the way. So I'm not sure, Jerry. Oh, Lord. Can you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? That's my musical reference of the day. Mal says Priest Holmes had a better peak than almost anyone in the early 2000s. Priest Holmes was pretty good for about 3 years. Curtis Martin was good too, no question. I don't know. I'm just saying that I'm telling you, Kevin Stefanski is a fantastic football coach, and he will run circles around Raheem Morris, who should be nothing more than a defensive coordinator ever again, just like his buddy Dennis Allen, who really isn't apparently can't figure out how to be a defensive coordinator anymore because the Bears defense wasn't that good. They were like 24th in the NFL.
Kevin Stefanski and Raheem Morris were both fired this year. One already has a job. The other's not even getting interviews. So
he's going to get interviews as a DC, I would guess, or he's going to take a year off. Who the hell knows? But there's that. All right. What else you got this morning? We're going to give our picks and predictions on Friday for Patriots, Broncos, Rams, Seahawks. That we're going to do it a little bit different. Both you and UBN will be allowed to take prop bets as well. I'm going to force both of you, though. You're going to have to you can't just do all prop bets. You have to do at least one spread or total. Then the other two, you can do whatever the hell you want. And we can't be betting, and it's got to be minus 120 or lower. You can't take you might want to take a week off, buddy.
Yeah.
The first person ever in the history of this contest to go 0-4. And it's only possible because it was the first time we had 4 picks in a week. So One Smoke says Jamal Lewis was 2000 was one of the best seasons for running back. Yeah, He was, but talking about just for a career, I don't think anyone disagrees. LT, AP, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey are some of the best, at least in this century. No question about it. So we're going to have fun making picks. You're going to do better this week. We're all going to do better this week.
Can't do worse.
I mean, theoretically, you can't do worse record-wise. You absolutely can't do worse because you can't go 0-4 this week. We're only giving you 3. So
Have you seen the classic clip of the British soccer coach who was really struggling to get a win with his team, and they'd lost like 7 in a row, and a reporter opens up their question with, "It can't get anywhere." They said, "Oh, it can't go on like this," and he looks at the reporter, stops him mid-question, he goes, "It can."
I mean, people always can't get anywhere, and I said this is can't get anywhere. Oh, yes, it can. Other than death, I mean, it can always be worse. You're still here. It could get worse.
Yeah, you're forcing me to make picks this week.
Forcing you to make picks. That's right. That's right. Before you had a wide array of choices. No longer. But we will see you then. And once again, thank you to all the new members. And Gabe and I will get you into the Slack channel. Gabe's going to kind of be running the Slack channel. I will be in there, obviously. But Gabe's kind of set up all the rooms. I will be commenting as much as anyone. But he will send you. Again, this is not something that you have to do if you're a member. I mean, maybe you're just a member because you want to support the channel. That's great. We appreciate anyone that's become a member just because they want to support the channel. But you will have the option to become. We will send you a invite to the Slack channel, and we will all be commenting on there. You can set it to where you don't have any notifications. You can set it up to where you have selected notifications, or you can set it up to where you're notified anybody type something in there.
I believe for anyone who's new to using Slack, I believe the default setting is you will not be notified of a message unless you are tagged in the message.
There you go. But you can change that.
Show up as a message that you missed on the app.
And again, you can just set it to have no notifications and just go check it whenever you want to check it, and but just go and type in, read them, and type them in, and whatever. So basically, Slack is just a messaging app, and that is part of your subscription to the Dattitude podcast. Again, if you are a member, send me your email address. It's jim@jimderry.com.
And then I saw Adam Varner ask the question earlier, and I meant to come back to it. It's all the way up there. I'm not going to look for it. He said he's busy with work right now. Can he become a member? You can become a member anytime. Doesn't matter if we're live or not. Just be sure to send us your email address.
Click the join button.
You added. Yep, we'll get you added as soon as possible.
All right, Gabe, we will see you on Friday with our picks. And again, Friday, big show. We got a big show coming up on Friday. I'm excited about it, and I will see you Friday.
Me too.
By the way, in case you didn't hear me talk about it earlier, we have a special guest on Friday. It's not just Zach Ewing, although Zach Ewing is one of our guests. We have Zach Ewing coming on from 11:20 to 11:40. We have the Pick'em crew coming on from 11:40 to probably close to noon. And then at noon on Friday, I'm excited about this. We have Mike Vandervelde, who was the lead official in the college football national championship game this past Monday night. That's right. The White Cap, the head official in the national championship game on Monday, will be a guest on this show noon on Friday. So make sure you find a way to get here. Again, if you can't watch the show live, it's okay. You can always find us after the fact. You know how to do that. Either here on YouTube, you can find us on Facebook. And if you don't want to watch the show, you just want to listen to the show, you can do that as well. We're on all the major podcast platforms. You can find us easily. Don't forget, even if you don't want to member, at the bare minimum, please subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube. You don't have to be a member to just subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube page, and you're still able to type in messages here on the live shows and send me messages after the fact. All those things still apply. We appreciate you so much. Please subscribe to the show. But that is going to wrap it up for us on this Wednesday. I want to give thanks to Ross Jackson again for coming on to the show. Again, always a fantastic guest. We will certainly have him on again before the draft. No question about it. He will be on before the draft. I want to thank, obviously, Gabe. I want to thank all the new members. And I want to thank you. We cannot do the show without you. Member, no member, you just watch the show. Thank you so much. We hope you can join us next for Friday. All those great guests that we told you about. And all kidding aside, this stuff is no joke. This weather, if you don't pay attention to the news or the weather all that much, and you live almost, it's going to hit apparently 30 states of the 50. If you live anywhere but the West Coast or maybe the North, I guess that's part of the West Coast too, but maybe not in Idaho or Florida or Southern Alabama or Southern Georgia. But if you live almost anywhere else, you need to pay attention to this weather, folks. It is a big deal. This ice storm is not going to play. This could be one of the most serious winter storms that this country has had in quite a few years. So seriously, if you have not paid attention, we would encourage you all to go take a look at your local weather. I know not all of you from New Orleans, wherever you're from. We appreciate you so much. But we will see you on Friday. So everyone, until then, when we have a lot of fun on Friday with all sorts of things, take care, my friends.